Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Adam, and this is going to be my testimonial video as to how I became a Christian and practically my life story. I was told by a friend that when you do these testimonials, you should tell your life story. I'm not sure if that's true or not because I see these 15-minute and 11-minute videos on YouTube, but I'll just go with it anyways. So, my full name is Adam Michael Strand. I was born in Helena, Montana, 1999. So, that's just a little bit of a background on me. I was born into uh, a pretty wealthy, how should I say this? A pretty wealthy family. My dad was a lawyer, pretty successful lawyer, second or third in the state, and my mom was a secretary at a law firm he worked at. We made pretty good money. We lived in a nice house and everything. My 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 roots in Christianity come from the Lutheran Church here where I live, and that's where I was born, or not born, but where I was baptized. And I went to church every Sunday, and then that stopped. But we still went to church on Christmas Eve, and we did prayer. We prayed it before dinner. We were a pretty Christian family, and everything was great. I still remember uh, my Christian life. We had a pretty good pastor, and I still miss this pastor, even though he's a Lutheran Christian. He was a great pastor. So uh, he I liked him a lot. He had a great way of explaining things. He talked well, and I listened overall. I enjoyed my church life. It wasn't that bad of a church. I know that people have had bad experiences with churches, and that's sad, but this was a very good one. So one detail I can always remember from when I went to church at the Lutheran church, for every Christmas Eve they held a ceremony where they would light candles and everyone would carry a candle and sing this song. I can't remember what that song was, but it was a very catchy song, and I can still kind of remember a small tune or hum from it. But anyways, that was the thing. We carried candles. Everyone lit the candle of the person they were next to. The church was dark and the fans were on, and only the lights up at the front of the church were on. It was a very pristine view, and the windows were stained glass with pictures of Jesus, Mary, and everything. So it was a pretty cool looking church, and it had a great atmosphere to it. So I'm going to go ahead and skip probably about 8 years into my life, and this was in the fifth grade, and this is where I hit my first rough patch in life. I was very depressed in the fifth grade. Even though I was a 9 year old, I was very sad, and I can still remember to this day. I was I would walk through the playground and just say to myself that everyone hated me, God hated me, and that my teachers hated me, my parents hated me, everyone I knew hated me, like my sister hated me. I thought everyone hated me, and this is partially due to the fact that at the time my parents didn't know it, I didn't know it, but I had a severe anxiety disorder. Severe. I had an anxiety disorder where I would get very anxious. I'd have panic attacks, and this really interfered with my school life. I didn't understand why I couldn't grasp or do the things that were responsible, like do schoolwork or do chores, which I wasn't so bad at as I am now. But that's just something that happened. So I was very depressed. I didn't get to the point of where I was like going to commit suicide or anything. How grateful I am that it didn't reach that point. But I was very sad, and I thought my friends hated me and everything, and so I was very shut in at that time, and I wasn't that sad or that happy. So life continues on for about, let's say, yeah, we get to summer. I finally shed off this depression from the fifth grade, and this depression also was caused by me getting bad grades and everything. And my teachers were asking me why I was getting bad grades, and I just couldn't answer it. So we get to summer, and I'm finally getting happier. I'm recovering from this bad year of my life, and I'm finally talking at least a little bit more, and I'm hanging out with a lot more people than I was before. And I get to the weekend after the first day of my sixth grade year. Uh, the on Friday, I'm in my mom's room because I slept in my mom's room. I was a I'm a I love my mom, and loved her even more back then. I like to sleep in her room. I don't see a problem with that. I was like 9 or 10 years old, but I was sleeping in her room, and she in the middle of the night, not in the middle of the night, but at about before we go to bed, she tells me, Adam, I have something very important to tell you tomorrow. And she didn't give me a hint or anything as to what it was. So I was just thinking in my head what it could be. The first thing that popped into my head was that my parents were getting divorced. You can to this day I'm a pessimist, and back then I was a pessimist, but I do try to think positively like I did then. I thought, well, maybe we're moving out, or maybe we won the lottery, because she didn't put it in a tone that sounded bad. She put it in a very how should I say it? She put it in a just a normal tone, something like something normal happened, like normal conversation. So I didn't know what it was. So the next morning, I wake up. She's in the living room, and I go to the computer. I play some World of Warcraft, if you know what that is. I played that game for a little bit, and then she called my sister and me to the living room, which I was already in, and I sat down on the couch. My mom was sitting in the couch to my right, and my sister was sitting in the couch across from me. So she said, to this day, I can't remember exactly what was said, but I do remember it visually. And usually that's the thing, you remember stuff that impacts your life the most. And I wouldn't say that this really impacted my life, but it kind of did to an extent. So she said that I remember her saying that me and your dad are getting a divorce. And immediately my sister started crying, like crying hysterically, like that, the snap of the fingers. And my mom is rushing over to her. She's also crying because my sister is, and she's holding her, hugging her, trying to get her to calm down. And what I'm doing is just sitting across from them in the chair, and I'm just staring at them. I'm not I'm not sad. I don't feel anything at all. I just don't feel anything at all. I'm just looking at them, and I can't think. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel empty. I didn't feel anything that was like depression related. I was not denying it. I was still processing. I wasn't. Uh, I knew what was happening. I just didn't feel sad at all. It was a weird thing, very surreal, because I knew I was supposed to be sad. I knew I was supposed to be crying, but I wasn't. So I remember seeing them crying like that, and my mom turns to me with her tears in her eyes, and she says, "Adam, are you okay?" In a very like in that caring tone and stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I can't remember exactly if she said anything after that. I was not crying though. I was hoping to continue on my life for like normal. I didn't see like I'm gonna continue afterwards, but I'm gonna say right now that I didn't see my dad after that day for 2 years. So, anyways, we're getting my sister. She decides to go with visit some friends and get this sorted out. Is what I think that she was doing at the time. Um, and I can't remember what my mom did, but I went back after the conversation was over. Uh, I went back to playing World of Warcraft, and I didn't think much about what happened afterwards. I didn't feel numb in my body. I didn't feel sad. I didn't have a problem at all. It was weird because usually when a child hears that, especially as young as I was, um, they would at least shed at least one tear, but I didn't. And I didn't at the time understand how much this would impact my life and how much it would change me and what I've gone through so far, but it really did. So at that same night, I remember eating dinner and I was silent for the majority. I didn't talk much, but I still didn't feel sad. I still think I can't remember what my mom said at the dinner table, but she still asked me. I think she asked me how I felt about it, and I didn't say anything bad. I said I felt fine. I was fine. I didn't. It's weird. So I forgot I was gonna mention this, but I'll tell you guys the backstory of the divorce. Now the Friday before that Friday when she was going to tell me what that Friday that she told me that at night that she had something important to tell me. That Friday my mom was outside and she was clipping the bushes of her house, um, and she received a phone call from a very angry father of a daughter, and the father was asking if Michael Strand was there, and he was very very angry. And Michael Strand is the name of my father, by the way. So my mom answers, and she says, "No, may I ask who this is?" And I can't remember his name. I can't remember his daughter's name, so I'll just improvise. And he said, "My name's so and so, and your my daughter is with Michael Strand." And since I can't remember the details of the conversation, I can't really recall them. Uh, my mom says I'll call him and ask him about this right now. That's the one thing I can remember. I think I remember her saying when she was telling me how this happened. And so she calls my dad and she's like, "Are you?" My dad was in Great Falls at the time, and she said, "Are you with a girl right now?" And he answered honestly and said yes. And my mom said, "Why are you with her?" And she's like, and my dad gave a very stupid response, in my opinion. He said, "I'm testing the waters. I think I'm in love." Now, I'd like you guys to know that this girl was 25, at least 25 years younger than my father. She was 21 years old. 21, 18, maybe. 18 or 21 years old. In that age range there. And my mom immediately said, "We're getting a divorce." That and he said okay, like literally he just said okay. That's the thing I remember her telling me, is that he said okay. And so they I can't remember if she said anything else after he said okay, but that after that everything just turned into her telling me about the divorce. And then we get to the night where I was silent and she was telling me about how it happened. So that's the kind of story or background behind the divorce. So I continue my school year like normal. We're still living in my house at the same time, but eventually we had to move, and we had to do a lot of stuff. We had to, since our house was huge. Only my friends could tell you how huge it is, because I can't put it into words. It wasn't like a mansion, but it was pretty large. So we had to have a garage sale or a yard sale, and we had to sell a lot of stuff. And we ended up renting a house from a family friend, and that this all led into when I moved into this new house in the beginning of the seventh grade. And the seventh grade was my worst year of all the years in middle school, and personally in my school in my life. that was probably the worst year. I didn't feel sad, but at the same time I was eating a lot, as if I was stuffing my emotions with food, and I started to recede even further away from talking with people, except for my two closest friends at the time. And I was playing a lot of video games, staying up a lot. I wasn't getting good grades. I gained a lot of weight, and this this was happening over a period of a year. Yeah, over a year. And the house we lived in was a 17th or 18th century house. Uh, that was built pretty much in the beginning stages of development in Helena. So it was a pretty old house, but it was a pretty neat one too. I'm not afraid to admit that I'm actually pretty happy we moved to that house because it was awesome. But we had to move again. And there was two reasons behind that. One, we were sharing the house with two or three people. We owned the upper level of the house. That's how huge it was. And they owned the two or three people owned the lower half. One person lived in, and we had to share the kitchen. So uh, that was another problem. But my mom also wanted our own personal space. So over the course of the seventh grade, in middle school, we moved out a whole bunch of stuff in this three door car door garage. It was stuffed with our stuff. We had to move everything out, throw stuff away, go to the dump, move stuff into the new house, and the house that I'm in today. Uh, and I'm not saying that this is a very bad thing. I'm obviously very spoiled by the. You can see in the background the TV I have. I am by no means had a traumatic life compared to it, but this is just my story. So we moved everything in, and my mom felt very responsible about me. She said she gave me a new bed, a TV, and let's keep in mind that she was on a budget. She makes about $2,000, I think. Yeah, $2,000 a month. So she was to have her buy us a house and get us across everything. She's probably the best mom I could ask for. She has really pulled me through this thick and thin, and I cannot thank her enough. But on with the story. While during the process of the seventh grade and on, I started watching a lot of atheist YouTubers. You may know the names of these guys. I started watching Mr. Repsion, the amazing atheist, Thunderfoot, and Jacqueline Glenn. These are people I watched a lot, and I became an atheist over my seventh grade year into the eighth grade year. And we moved into this house I'm in now on the first. No, on my birthday. No, sorry. On the 1st of January, 2013, we moved into this house. So, my atheism, I want to say, my strength or my extremism for atheism grew as we were in this house that I am in now. And as the year went by, my friend, for privacy purposes, we'll call him Thomas. He became a Christian again. Well, not a Christian again. He was still kind of a Christian, but he was confused at the time. But he became saved about 7 or 8 months ago, and he started becoming very religious. And as you can see from the little graph that's going on here, my atheism was increasing. His Christianity was increasing as well. So it was going to hit, and we were both best friends. We've been friends for like 5 years. No, 7 years now, probably. We've known each other for a majority of our lives, and so at some point we were going to cross roads with this religious thing. I think he knew about me being an atheist before everyone else. So um, this 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 and that happened in the most simple thing, and me and him started debating a lot over Skype and Facebook. Whoa, sorry, my computer blacked out. But uh, anyways, so me and him started debating about atheism and Christianity a lot over Facebook and Skype, but we never really talked about it or butt heads in at school or whenever we hanged out together. And so we were debating about this, and this was this year, by the way. Over the period of summer to now, or no, over the period of summer to about a few weeks ago, we were debating about Christianity and stuff like that. So we were getting quit at odds, and I'll be honest with you right now. If I continued being an atheist, we probably wouldn't be friends anymore. It'd be the end of a 7-year friendship, a very close friendship, in my opinion. And so I'm happy that I'm a Christian now, but we'll get to the point of where I turn and convert, and that story a little bit later on. But this is my life story, so we're keeping on with that. Oh, and by the way, we stopped going to church about 2 years ago. The Lutheran church, we stopped going there about 2 years ago, which is about 2 years after the divorce. So, anyways, if I can think about this, it's hard to tell a story. I don't read this from a script because I want it to be a something from the heart. So we debating about this, and what was I gonna tell the story about? I almost forgot. Jeez, this is so bad. I got off track with the thing I was talking about. I'll just tell you guys about how. Oh yeah, yes, I was gonna tell you guys this. Now I remember. It came to me. Thank goodness. Uh, I don't. I wouldn't blame you if you clipped off the video by now, because this isn't really a. I've seen other people's testimonials on YouTube, but anyways, during the ninth grade, me and my friend, before he was a very religious person, I was still an atheist, but I didn't talk about it much. So, me and my friend, we started getting into drugs. Not serious drugs, depending on what you call serious. But we started smoking weed. We were doing, in general, very rebellious things. So, we both just we started doing that, and that was the freshman year. That the worst year you could possibly start doing that stuff. We were new to high school. We were stressed. These aren't excuses. These are just things that led us to doing drugs. But we were doing all this, and we were around bad crowds at the time. So we were living in sin very much, and we did drugs a lot. And we stopped, both of us. Well, I stopped doing smoking weed for at the beginning of summer this year, but my friend kept on for a little bit and then stopped. So that was that story about how, and to an extent, you could say that the drugs led him to becoming a Christian. If you, I don't know the story of what about that, but I think that has something to do with it, just personally, because I think he did go to court at the time, but I'm not sure. So, anyways, we were talking about this a lot, and one day, which is about a few weeks ago, a month or two ago, he talked to me about lunar recession, and we were in this argument about Christianity again, for like the umpteenth time. So at some point he said something, and I was just like, I don't know what to believe anymore. I broke down, but I didn't break down in the terms of crying, but I just broke down. So he tells me, man, you just need to believe in God. And I listened to him some more. I don't remember the details of the story, but I just listened to him some more, and he introduces me to reading the Bible. I read from about practically half of Genesis, I think. Half, or about 3/4 of Genesis, and then I give him back his Bible because I I had converted to Christianity after being an atheist for 2 years, and so I gave him back his Bible, and I was Christian. I want to say I wasn't any denomination of Christianity. Personally, I think we shouldn't have denominations of Christianity. I think if there should be just Christian, but oh well, can't win all of them. So I was a Christian, and I started watching atheist videos again, and I went back to atheism, and I told my friend, man, I'm deciding to stay an atheist, and he asked me why, and I said because I think there's more evidence leading to it, and he told me if when you're ready to test your theory, come to Next Steps, which is a church group. So I tell him, oh, and I answer like with a very uh like a comeback, kind of like it's not a theory, it's a lack of belief. And he's like, fine, your lack of belief, I gotta go. So that happened, and kind of didn't talk much after that, even at school. So, and this is up to about 2 3 weeks ago. So I became a Christian very recently. But anyways, so I remember watching a debate between Christopher Hitchens and a rabbi. And as I'm doing this, I get this very unsettling feeling. I felt very unsettled. I felt anxious. I felt disturbed. And I'm like, I go immediately to my friend. I pause the video. I go immediately to my friend. I'm like, man, I need your help. And he said, with what? And I'm like, I am doubting my lack of belief. And it takes him a while to respond, but he says, man, I told you shouldn't have watched those atheist videos, and you shouldn't have gone down that path. I can't remember exactly what he said, but that's basically what he said. And I believe it was the next day that me and him went over this a little bit more. He taught me a little bit more about the Bible. He gave me his New Testament little pocket Bible, those that they hand out at sometimes at schools or somewhere else. And so I started reading it, and I'm still reading it. I've gotten through Mark chapter 4. I'm at that right now. I'm at Mark chapter 4. And so anyways, he also gave me a very cool Christian necklace that I still wear every day. I'm not wearing it right now because I'm going to go to bed uh soon. It's like late night, but anyways, he gave me that also, and to this day at least like a week later or so, I'm a Christian now, and I'm heeding God's word. And so now we come to last night. This is basically the end of my story, catching up to me because I'm still young, haven't had much experience in life, so this is just me telling you this. We come to last night, and last night I have what I feel was I think it was, yeah, last night or the night before, I had what I call a conversational prayer with God. I'm still trying to dissect it and find out what happened, but basically I was watching normal video game videos, just browsing YouTube, and all of a sudden I got this very compelling thing. I grabbed my pocket Bible and the Christian necklace, and I was holding on to it, and I began talking as if God was in the room with me. And I remember I can't remember exactly what I said. I was just talking about how he had pulled me from being an atheist not once but twice. Not once, twice, but 3 times actually. 3 times. And I was talking to him, and I was saying, I can only take this as a sign that you want me to do something. You want me to become a pastor or a minister or a disciple. You want me to do something. And I'm still trying to figure out what it was. And I asked my friend about this, and he said it's the Holy Spirit. And it very much moved me last night. I was very moved. I didn't feel bad at all. I felt very happy. I felt lighthearted. Uh, and this moved me exceptionally. I'm still trying to figure out what it was. And so I was talking with him, and this was for like 10 minutes. I was talking with him, and I can't remember exactly the details of the conversation. I was just talking nonstop like that. So it just got like that, and I after 10 minutes, I just laid down my Bible. I calmed down, and I was so tired. I went to bed early, like 9 o'clock practically. 9 o'clock. I usually stay up way later than that. So that that basically is my story, everybody. I know it's not the best. I know I'm not the best storyteller, but I didn't want to script it. I didn't want to write a script about it because I feel that it's not from the heart when you do that, and it doesn't feel special at all. It doesn't feel like a story like it should be. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, like or comment or subscribe it if you want. This channel is going to be a lot about Christianity, but I'm also going to be making videos about skateboarding and archery, and also I also bowl, but that's not really common, is it? I'm also going to be doing video game videos because those are my hobbies practically. So anyways, thank you all for watching this. If you listen this far, this is a half an hour long, I know. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you want, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video, which will probably be God knows what. So see you later, and peace.